AI voiceovers are lame. Full blog at lesbianagenda.com. Let's talk a little bit about navigating your identity in your 30s and 40s as a late bloomer lesbian. Some of us don't bloom early, and some of us don't bloom, quote unquote, on time. Some of us bloom when we're staring down at a mortgage and a new baby and looking around at a half-finished dream life that, God, we really tried to make it fit. And I'm here to tell you that isn't a failure and nothing to feel ashamed of. So for a lot of women, especially lesbians, coming into yourself doesn't happen at 18. It can happen in your 30s or 40s and sometimes later. And if you're here because you searched something like, what if I'm a late bloomer lesbian? Or can you realize you're gay later in life? You're in the right place. You're not alone. So let's name the pattern. Something we don't talk about enough is that late blooming isn't a mistake, it's a pattern. And it is a massively under-discussed one. A lot of women don't realize they're a lesbian until later because we weren't slow. We were doing what we were told and really surviving on a rule book that was never made for us. Our culture trains women to contort and be nice, agreeable, desirable, but never pause long enough to ask, what do I actually want? Is this what I want? So for a lot of us, lesbian identity doesn't surface until all that noise dies down. After having a kid, leaving a relationship that drained us, after healing, or after stopping long enough to realize that what we called quote unquote crushes were actually grief or longing or unmet desire. So some common late bloomer signs, some patterns I've seen, and just notice what lands. Maybe mistaking admiration for attraction and attraction for admiration. Sometimes we can be overinvesting in female friendships that feel friggin' intense. Late bloomers generally try really hard to be interested in men with little to no payoff. At least I know for me, feeling sexually different but not having a language for it. And then, of course, a lifelong pattern of emotional bonding with women over anyone else. And late bloomers know all too well that quiet, weird relief when a relationship with a man ends. And if that felt a little too familiar, welcome, you are among friends. So what's the psychology behind late blooming? Late blooming usually comes down to two things: safety and language. You finally feel safe enough to look inward, and you finally have words that match your lived experience. A lot of us grew up before lesbian representation was anything other than punchlines, predatory stereotypes, or adult entertainment categories. The vocabulary that we have today is vocabulary we did not have access to when it mattered. So you're not late. The world was not giving you the tools when you needed them. But that's not to say that it doesn't still come with fears. What if I'm wrong? And that's usually where the spiral starts. You ask yourself questions, what if I'm confused? What if I'm wrong? Slow it down. Been there, but let's slow it down. So first off, orientation does not require a mythic lightning bolt that just dubs you a lesbian. Now, some lesbians likely had one, and some didn't, and both are real. Secondly, attraction is not the same as sexual history. Sleeping with men doesn't disqualify you from being a lesbian. Being married to a man doesn't mean you lied about being a lesbian. It means you did not have the full picture of your sexual orientation yet. And thirdly, and I cannot emphasize this enough, people who aren't gay don't spend hours dissecting whether or not they're gay. Sorry for not holding your hand through that, but I'm not a hand holder. But anyway, if you keep asking the question, your brain might be trying to tell you something, is all I'm saying. Another thing we don't talk about, though, is that grief, the guilt, and the compassion that comes with being a late bloomer. Because late bloomer lesbians, we carry a specific kind of guilt. I wasted years. I hurt people. I should have known sooner. My life would have been easier if I figured this out at 18. Let me tell you what, I feel that, and I can also say you did not waste anything. You lived with the tools you had. Coming out later in life is just a reclamation. There's no failure in that. And yeah, you're gonna grieve the years you did not get to live as your full self, bet. But that grief does not mean you're wrong. It means you're living and it means you're human. And if you have kids, your honesty is teaching them something powerful, that telling the truth about who you are matters. So what do you do after you realize you're a lesbian? Here's the part that nobody told us. You are allowed to take your time. You don't have to label yourself tonight. You don't have to date tomorrow. But here's a few grounding steps. Start exploring your attraction honestly, privately, however's comfortable to you. Do not look through porn to find those answers about your identity. And don't think through what you think you should feel. Ask yourself, who do I fantasize about? Who energizes me? Who do I want to be wanted by? Whose touch actually feels good? Let yourself look at women without guilt. You're not doing anything wrong. And please learn the difference between attraction and admiration. This trips up so many late bloomers. I break it down deeply in the log link below. Also, talk to other late bloomer lesbians. There are entire communities built behind, holy shit, am I gay? You are not an outlier, I promise. And dating as a late bloomer, late bloomers are not less experienced. We're just experienced in the wrong friggin' direction. And the truth is, sapphic dating is often gentler, deeper, and more emotionally honest. And honestly, late bloomers' communication skills are usually stronger. You know yourself better. You don't tolerate bullshit. And relationships can move fast because that honesty just hits different. Women in their 30s and 40s know what they want, and that's not a weakness, it's actually your superpower. Late blooming is not a failure, it's freedom. And it's that quiet moment where everything clicks and you think, oh, it all makes sense now. So whether you're questioning, quietly panicking, or mapping out a full queer rebirth, you deserve to understand yourself without shame. If you want to go deeper, I've linked the full blog at lesbianagenda.com and dropped resources in the description, including my Am I a Lesbian quiz, attraction versus admiration breakdown, and lesbian dating guide for late bloomers. If this resonated, please like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. You're not alone or wrong. You're just getting started, and that is beautiful.